It was early evening when I decided to head to the pool. The sun was low in the sky, casting a golden glow over the water, and the air was still warm from the afternoon heat. I needed this, needed the quiet rhythm of swimming, the weightless feeling of being submerged, the momentary escape from the thoughts that had been swirling in my head all day. I slipped into my swimsuit, grabbed my towel, and stepped out onto the balcony of our apartment. From up here, I could see the pool below, shimmering under the glow of the overhead lights. A few swimmers lingered at the edges, their soft laughter and conversation drifting up to me. Going for a swim? I turned to see my boyfriend, Michael, standing in the doorway, leaning casually against the frame. His dark hair was tousled from the day, and he had that easy smile that always managed to disarm me. "Yeah," I said, adjusting the strap of my bag. "I just need to clear my head for a bit." He studied me for a moment, something unreadable in his eyes. Then, to my surprise, he said, "Mind if I come along?" I blinked. Michael wasn't much of a swimmer. He preferred the gym, the trails, anything that didn't involve chlorinated water. But I found myself nodding. "Sure, if you want." And just like that, he grabbed a towel and followed me downstairs. The water was cool against my skin, sending a shiver through me as I glided forward, arms cutting through the water in steady strokes. Michael lingered at the shallow end at first, watching me with a thoughtful expression before he finally slipped into the water. I watched him out of the corner of my eye, amused by his tentative movements. He wasn't a bad swimmer, just cautious. Unlike me, who found solace in the water, he always seemed a little out of place. "You're staring," he said, his voice light but teasing. I smirked. "You're not exactly blending in." He splashed water in my direction, and I laughed, the sound echoing off the tiles. We settled into an easy rhythm, swimming side by side for a while before drifting to the edge of the pool. "So," he said after a while, leaning against the ledge, "clearing your head yet?" I sighed, staring at the reflections dancing on the water's surface. "Trying to." Michael nodded, his gaze steady. "Want to talk about it?" I hesitated. The truth was, I wasn't sure how to put it into words. The weight of expectations, the creeping doubt that always seemed to find me in moments of stillness. But there, in the quiet hum of the pool, with Michael by my side, it felt easier. "Just life," I said finally. "Sometimes it feels like I'm treading water, you know? Like I'm moving but not really getting anywhere." He was quiet for a moment before he said, "I get it. But you're not alone in it." Something about the way he said it, so simple yet sincere, made my throat tighten. I nodded, grateful for his presence in ways I couldn't quite express. We swam in silence for a while longer, the weight of my thoughts slowly lifting with each stroke. Michael stayed close, his presence a steady reassurance. Eventually, we found ourselves floating in the middle of the pool, the world outside feeling distant and unimportant. "You know," he said, breaking the quiet, "I never really understood why you loved swimming so much. But I think I get it now." I turned to him, curious. "Oh? Yeah," he said, smiling softly. "It's peaceful. And it's just you and the water. No distractions." I smiled, touched by his words. "Exactly." He reached for my hand under the water, his fingers cool against mine. "I like being here with you." I felt a warmth spread through me, not from the water, but from the connection between us, silent, steady, and real. As we finally climbed out of the pool, wrapping ourselves in our towels, I felt lighter. The worries I had carried down with me seemed smaller now, more manageable. And as Michael walked beside me, his arm brushing against mine, I realized that sometimes the best support doesn't come with words, but simply with presence. Back in our apartment, I curled up next to him on the couch, still damp from the pool, and rested my head on his shoulder. "Thanks for coming with me," I murmured. He kissed the top of my head. "Always." And just like that, I knew I wasn't swimming alone anymore. The next morning, I found myself lingering by the pool again, this time alone. The water was still, the early sunlight reflecting off its surface like glass. I dipped my toes in, feeling the familiar coolness rush over me. I thought about last night, about Michael, his quiet support, and how much it had meant to me. Sometimes, I realized, it wasn't about fixing things, but about simply being there. As I swam lazy laps, I felt more in tune with myself than I had in a long time. Each stroke was a reminder that I didn't have to have it all figured out right now. I just had to keep moving. Later, as I dried off and walked back upstairs, I saw Michael waiting with 2 cups of coffee. He grinned as he handed me one. "Missed you down there." I smiled back, grateful for him, grateful for us. "I'll be back tomorrow." And I knew I would be. Not just for the pool, but for the quiet moments we shared, and for the realization that sometimes it's the little things that keep us afloat.